I started talking to people, they're like, why are all the master bedrooms downstairs? And I was like, what do you mean?
Yeah.
And I was like, no, they're not supposed to be upstairs. I'm like, oh no, they're always upstairs. And
I'm totally okay with it.
yeah, I don't mind it, so. Today we're talking about 5 things that you may not think about, but you need to know if you're thinking about moving to Texas.
So this video is going to be specifically things that deal within the house when you buy a house, things you have to look out for. And the first one, and I think it's the biggest misconception that a lot of people have, is foundation. Texas, clay soil.
Yeah.
Not a lot of places have that, so a lot of people come to Texas and they read online about these homes have foundation issues. We show out-of-town buyers quite a lot, and they're
one of the biggest things I hear from most everybody.
Yeah, they're panic-stricken when they see a home that has some foundation work, and it's just not to be the case. It's something you need to look out for and something that needs to be rectified. But more often than not, if a house has had foundation work done,
it's certainly not fun money. I always joke around. I tell buyers, like, the fun money is getting to redo your kitchen, or your granite countertops. It's stuff you get to appreciate. Foundation, it kind of sucks. It sucks to have to do, but it's something that happens so commonly here in North Texas that it's not the same as if you hear foundation issues in other parts of the country, where that's like something is wrong with the home. And yes, the structure, there is something that's impaired at the moment, but that fix is much more readily.
It's just super common. I mean, the way that the clay soil works, it's going to cause shifting within the house. Every home's going to go through it. Doesn't matter where you are in Texas. Unfortunately, that's just the way it is. So if a home has to have it done before you buy it, then that's something that you need to work with the sellers to do so. Or if you're buying a home that has had foundation work done, it's actually a good thing because it means it's, there's piers in there most likely that are now going to be there for a while that you don't need to worry about.
Well, actually, it kind of funnels into the foundation issue. And then there's workarounds to fixing this, and that's I tell people, if you have a sprinkler system or even a drip line around your foundation, those all help to keep kind of stabilizing the soil a little bit. And this is one I actually ran into the other day. Our second point would be the direction your home faces. And I was showing one of our listings the other day, and the folks are moving from, I believe, Virginia, and the backyard faced west. And I was like, something you may want to consider, guys, is you may want to put some sunscreens up in the backyard because it's Texas and it gets
very hot.
Hotter than hell.
Unfortunately, our bedroom actually, it's mostly greenbelt behind it, but there is a small section that is uncovered, and when the sun gets to about 5 o'clock, it beams directly into our bedroom window, and it gets hot. It gets really hot.
Yeah, and that's just one of those that they kind of were shocked. They were like, well, what do you mean? I was like, well, this is something I talk about with buyers that I show, especially from out of the area. It's one that you don't necessarily think about, but yeah, if the front of your house is all west facing, you have a whole lot of windows, your air conditioning bill is going to be a little bit higher because you're just getting beat down with that, west facing sunset, especially during the middle of summer. So it's something, like I said, it's not the end of the world. There's definitely workarounds to help alleviate some of those issues, but it's one that I tell people just to be mindful of.
For sure. And then going off of that, the weather. We get a lot of storms in Texas, especially like now we're in sort of the May time.
Yesterday had some boomers.
And they come out of nowhere as well. We get a lot of hailstorms as well. So when it comes to protecting your home, your roof is going to take a lot of hits. And that is something that is quite common as well with homes when you look at ages. You will generally be able to see certain years where really bad storms came in, because you'll see the ages of all the roofs.
It's like 2018, they had a big storm, all the roofs are that old.
Right now you'll see a lot of roofs that are 3 to 4 years old.
Yeah,
because we had the big one in 2019, 2020. And there's some more recent. I think we had a big one last year, so there's some
in some areas.
There's some, I think it was like Highland Village that way. There was some roofs that are going to be about a year old, and that is just something that you're going to have to deal with.
Yeah, and that's the thing. They always say, you have a 15 or a 30-year roof. That's how most roofs are rated. Now, of course, you have the crazy 50 years and all that. But here in Texas, I always laugh and tell people it's not a 15 or 30-year roof. It's about an 8-year. That's your average lifespan of a roof in Texas is probably about 8 years. It's actually one of the big reasons we're seeing multiple different insurance companies have pulled out of homeowners insurance here in North Texas, is just because of the cost.
Again, if you can get lucky, you can move into a house that has had a new roof and you can get out before it needs to be replaced again, but chances are at some point in your home ownership, you're gonna have to replace a roof. And with the weather as well, drainage is gonna be another big thing. And I ran into this yesterday, funnily enough.
We had an inch of rain yesterday.
The storms want to know where we get a lot of heavy rain, and if your yard isn't leveled properly, or if there isn't enough drainage in the back, it could flood out the garden. I went to show a house yesterday and there was probably like this much water in the backyard that pooled around because it wasn't leveled out. Easy fix that is gonna, well, I say easy fix. French drains are a great one. They're not cheap.
It can be expensive.
Yeah.
Especially depending on the distance that you have to run.
Yeah, if it has to go further, then it's gonna be more expensive. Granted, that is something that will, I believe, increase the value of your home a little bit.
A little bit.
You know, it's not something that's wasted money. People, if they have a French drain, it's looked fun.
Well, it also helps, again, foundation. Goes right back to, if you don't have pooled water sitting around your foundation, you're less likely to have foundation issues down the line. So it's a preventative cost that can, you know, kind of save you in the long run. Okay, for our last couple of points that we're gonna bring up, these are gonna be kind of more, I guess, architectural features that are a little bit different to Texas, that, or I guess more kind of southern region, more so than if you're gonna have up north. And I think the biggest one that I get from people is no basements.
Yeah, I actually have a family up in Toronto, and they have an awesome basement set.
I wish we could have basements because there's such an awesome flex space.
But there's just nothing. I've never seen even one home that has even like a custom built basement.
There's a couple, but it's not usually like your typical basement. Like most of the time you'll have a basement. It's a walkout basement, so the home is kind of built into the side of the hill, and you go downstairs, and that's how they kind of break the elevation up. But you don't really have your typical quote unquote basement that you just dig deeper down, and you have extra storage downstairs. And again, I think that's kind of the clay soil that we have. It's shifts a little bit too much.
But I do say that the homes here, they do have like kind of a reverse option, and a lot of them have like the big flex spaces upstairs. I think a lot of homes, that's my personal favorite home, is going to be like a one story, because a lot of homes are one story here. You really don't get, I mean, you get 2 stories, but it's quite common for Texas to have 1 story homes.
The 1.5 story.
The 1.5 story is my favorite. It's just a whole 1 story house, and then you just go upstairs, and there's just one big room that people use for like a media room, or
game room. Yeah, sometimes has like a bathroom off of that one, but yeah, you can kind of convert that out to do, you know, it's a flex space. It's kind of same thing as your basement would be. You can use it kind of for whatever you want. But again, that's something to take into account, because with not having the basement, you don't have that flex space for the game room unless you have that upstairs. But also, it's just mainly storage.
Yeah.
So something to think about there is just attic space. That's another big one for Texas, is, you know, you don't have that go downstairs and put your, you know, whatever.
Yeah, you have to crawl upstairs into a 120-degree attic in the summer, and that is
not fun.
No, not fun at all.
Also limits what you can store up there.
Yeah.
You don't want things melting.
No.
And then the final point. This is kind of one I never even realized was a thing until I started working with more clients from up north, and that's master bedroom being downstairs. Super common, and not just common, it's preferred. Yeah, I mean, there's almost a detractor if we list a home that's a 2-story and it has the master bedroom upstairs, not as favorable as if it were downstairs.
I mean, you're just gonna limit the amount of people that are gonna want to live in the house. I mean, young people are gonna be okay with doing stairs, but if you're older, if you're a bit bigger, maybe, you know, you don't want to be going up and downstairs all the time. And
they don't get the steps in.
No, they don't want to do that. They want ease of access, and having a bedroom downstairs, it's just easy, especially if they have like a split floor plan, and you can have your bedroom at the back kind of out of the way of everyone else.
And I've never really thought about it. I think primarily, my assumption for that is heating and cooling. I think just because if you have your master bedroom downstairs, it stays cooler, because we have more warm months than we do cold months, and, you know, vice versa, if you go up north, you want the master bedroom upstairs because it's easier. It's easier to keep that bedroom warmer than it is to be cooler on the downstairs. And again, that's one of those I didn't really know was a thing until I started talking to people. They're like, "Why are all the master bedrooms downstairs?" And I was like, "What do you mean?" And I was like, "No, they're not supposed to be upstairs." They're like, "Oh no, they're always upstairs." And
I'm totally okay with it. I can stay on board with the downstairs.
I don't mind it. So, well, guys, thank you for watching this video. If y'all have any questions or any other questions that may pop up, if you're thinking about relocating here to Texas, be sure to leave a comment down below. Also, make sure to like and subscribe, and we will see you guys in the next one.
See ya.